Hello. Today we're going to build an axe for Dagger and Bellagrith. This can be applied to other foam sports as well. It can also be a Hearthlight. I don't come to mind. But if you use boffers in your sport, this is a build that can be used in that sport, most likely. Okay. We have a 1/2 inch solid fiberglass core. I'm going to make a biscuit tip. This is a scrap piece of foam I have. I'm going to take the tip and push it really hard into a corner edge of my foam. Push down really hard. So that marks the foam really well. And when it marks the foam, we can just cut out that little bit. And with that little bit, we're going to tape it to the edge of our core to help keep the core from chewing our foam in from the inside out. Okay, got a little square piece. Take my strapping tape. Use your momentarily to hold my strapping tape. Pull off a bit. Cut off the tag end with scissors. And then cut off a strip. Make sure to leave a tag right there. Strip on the foam. And I grab the tape. Pull up some more. Make sure to cut above the roll. Leave a little end. And I put this here by that. We need one more piece. Pull up a lot more. Cut a bit above the roll. And then fold this one over. Okay. Save this piece for last. Take these two pieces. Form them into an X. And peel that up. And then take this X and apply it to the top of this piece of foam. Like so. Now, you take your core. I recommend doing this on your floor or on a table or something. You put the foam on top and try to get equal pressure pulling down on both sides. Squeeze that to the core now of the tape. If you have a little bit of a wobble to one way or the other, just pull one side a little more. Notice that when I did this here, I did the top piece of tape first, and now I'm doing the second piece. If you do the top first, it helps to make sure that doesn't come off when you pull it to try to recenter it better. You pull it down and recenter it, and then you pull down the other side, and note that it recentered a bit, so I'm not more flat on top. And then you take the final piece of tape here, connect it, and really tightly wrap it around. Just make sure that this tape doesn't come off because there's a lot of pressure on this tip right here. Cut off any excess. I normally do about a wrap and a half, 2 wraps. Make sure it's a good, strong connection. And then from there, you take your knife, you go directly underneath that last wrap of tape, push down to the thumb tip, and spin the core with your fingers to cut off the excess ends. The less tape you have on your tip, the better, because it will create a weak point in your, less of a weak point in your weapon. When you do this to your weapon, you want to make sure you also sand the strapping tape. It's really, really, really important. If you don't, the DAP or carpet tape won't adhere to it that well, and eventually, very quickly, the core box layer will detach from the tip. And as you fight with it, it will wiggle a little bit, and it will slowly work itself down to eventually your entire tip will not be adhered to the core at all, and your sword will fail. So after you've cut these off, always make sure to sand the tip. Now you can take your knife, take the serrated edge, put it on the top, and drag it while pulling back toward yourself like this to sand it down. There's one method you can use if you don't have sandpaper. I recommend using sandpaper though. I'm going to get a sandpaper right quick. Get a little square right here. Doesn't really matter the grit. The finer the grit, probably the better. It will mess up your tape less. But this tape has fiberglass strands in it, As long as you don't cut those strands, this will last just fine. The outside finish does not matter at all. This is all under the weapon, no one's going to see it. So make sure you get it all nice and roughed up. Everywhere. All roughed up. Okay. That's done. You want to take a piece of foam, that's the width of your core, and cut it out from whatever foam you have. Preferably 2 pound. You can also use a 4 pound. I use 2 for this. This is a 2.5 inch deep block of 4 pound foam that I got from people that were throwing it away. So I have no idea what kind of foam specifically this is, but it was some kind of like polyethylene. Well, no, it's some kind of Microcell foam. That's probably about 2.5 pound. We take our core, we lay it on our table, and we press our block of foam to it. What this does is ensures that we don't spin the foam or anything when we apply it with our hand. Notice that's fairly straight. Good. You're going both sides. Good application. Now, we measure this. And that is about 3.5 almost. We're just going to call it 3.5 because you also have to factor in you're wrapping around here. So we need at least 7 inches wide of the foam we're about to cut. I would go ahead and, just to make sure, cut about 9 to 10 inches. I'm going to cut 10 inches. I was doing this earlier, cut a little too little, and have to remake the entire video because I made a mistake in my measurements and cutting. Set this off to the side. Take the blue foam. As you can see, probably cut out earlier and messed up on. Take your Sharpie. And this is, I believe, about 9 to 10 inches tall, this foam. You also want to measure the height. So we're about 7.5. I'm going to go ahead and just make it 8. We're going to cut off the excess anyway, so it doesn't matter if you have too much, but it's really important you don't have too little. Okay. So now, I recommend when you're going to work with blue foam to leave it under your mattress the day before you're going to work with it, or the night before you're going to work with it, so that it won't be curly like this is. In the future, when I remake these, I'll be sure to make these better, pre-planned, all the stuff already done. Primarily, I just want to show you all the methods I have and such. The final product of this is not going to be the best. I'm not going to keep this as is. This is just going to be my showing you how to build weapons core. So it's okay if my foam is not perfect. That's kind of the intent. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure to make it 10, just to be sure that I have enough to cut from. I'd rather have to trim off an inch or two than to have to cut an entire other 10-inch block, because my previous block was too short. Okay. Now we take our knife, take our foam, hold the ruler really hard, really tight. As we cut, we want to pull our knife into the ruler so that our cut comes out really straight It's being guided by the metal ruler. Okay. Go through, make another pass. Over here. Cut this out now. Same idea. Line it up, make sure it's straight. Push really tight. As we cut, drag the knife towards the ruler. And drag towards the ruler. Okay, I've got to keep this one here going down a little bit more. So I can finish out this whole bit here.